I could hear his voice quiver, not with anger but with something even worse, disappointment. His hands were unsteady as he placed his phone on the table, its screen lit up with messages I desperately wished could vanish. "How long, Emily? How long have you been lying to me?" In that instant, I wished the ground would just open up and swallow me. Welcome to Breakup Cheater, where real-life stories of love, betrayal, and the road to redemption unfold. Today's tale is a devastating one, about a single choice that shattered a family and the silent storm that followed. I first met Daniel when I was 23, freshly graduated from college, full of idealistic dreams about love and stability. He was everything I had imagined, steady, kind, with a laugh that lightened the world. Over the next 13 years we built a life together, 2 kids, a small home with creaky floors, and a rhythm that felt safe and predictable. But maybe that's where the problem began, the quiet monotony of it all. The endless cycle of school drop-offs, bills, and bedtime routines. I convinced myself I was happy, or maybe I really was, until Aaron came into the picture. Aaron was a colleague at the marketing firm I had joined 3 years ago. He was charismatic, effortlessly charming, and always knew exactly what to say. For the first time in a long while, I felt truly noticed, something I hadn't felt from Daniel in years. What began as late-night work sessions turned into lunches, playful banter that skirted the edge of inappropriate, and eventually, a kiss in the office parking lot after a team celebration. I remember going home that night and lying next to Daniel, feeling like a complete stranger in my own body. It wasn't a full affair, or at least that's what I convinced myself. Just a series of stolen moments, glances, messages, shared secrets. But emotional betrayal has a way of growing sharper. And before I knew it, I had crossed the line I promised I never would. Then came the moment of truth. I came home from work one day, still buzzing from the adrenaline of those secretive moments, only to find Daniel sitting at the kitchen table. The kids were at a friend's house. He was holding his phone, looking pale, his jaw clenched. "Emily, we need to talk," he said, the words that every guilty spouse dreads hearing. I had no idea how he found out. Maybe it was the late-night messages I forgot to delete. Maybe it was Aaron's wife who uncovered the truth. All I knew was the look in his eyes, searching mine, hoping for an explanation that could somehow redeem me. "I read them," he whispered, handing me the phone, a piece of evidence too heavy to deny. "I thought it was a misunderstanding, maybe you were venting," he continued, his voice breaking. But then I saw the hotel receipt. I felt my legs give way beneath me, the chair barely catching me as I sank down. "Daniel, I stammered, but he cut me off. "Just tell me why." And I had no answer that could make it any less painful. The days that followed were a blur of silence, forced smiles for the kids, and an emotional distance growing between us. Daniel didn't yell, didn't break anything, didn't hurl insults. He just withdrew, bit by bit. No more goodnight kisses, no more lazy Sundays, only cold, polite exchanges. 2 weeks later he handed me divorce papers. "I can't do this anymore," he said, standing by the window as the kids played outside, blissfully unaware of the storm inside. "I wanted to fight for us, Emily. But every time I look at you I see him. I see the lies. I can't raise our kids in a house built on that." I begged him. "I'll end it with him, I swear." It meant nothing. But his eyes were filled with a sadness deeper than any anger. It meant enough to throw us away. Telling the kids was the hardest part. They were 8 and 10, old enough to know something was off but too young to understand why their mother was crying so much. Daniel wanted to be honest but not cruel. "We're going to live in 2 homes now," he explained softly. "Sometimes you'll be with me, sometimes with Mom." Our daughter asked, "Why? Did you stop loving each other?" I opened my mouth, but no words came. How could I explain that the reason their father was leaving was because their mother had betrayed him? How could I destroy their image of me and still put them to bed at night? So I said nothing, letting Daniel bear the weight of their questions while I sank into my own shame. Weeks turned to months. Aaron reached out, but I ignored him. I knew he wasn't going to leave his wife. Men like him never do. Even if he did, what future could I possibly build on something that started so wrong? My nights were long and sleepless, my days mechanical. I went to work, smiled at coworkers who whispered behind my back, and came home to a house that felt emptier than ever. Meanwhile, Daniel seemed to be rediscovering himself. He threw himself into the kids' routines, started running again, and reconnected with old friends. The man I thought I had grown bored of was finding himself without me. The divorce was finalized quietly. No courtroom drama, no shouting matches, just a signature and the end of the life I once believed would last forever. But the hardest part wasn't losing him. It was understanding why I lost him. Not because he stopped loving me, but because I stopped respecting what we had. One rainy night, about a year after the truth came out, Daniel came by to drop the kids off. As they ran upstairs excitedly, he stayed behind in the hallway, looking at me with a quiet intensity. "You don't have to keep punishing yourself, Emily." "I'm not," I replied, my voice trembling. I don't know how to forgive myself." He sighed, his hands slipping into his pockets. "Neither do I, but I'm trying for them." And then he left, not with bitterness, not with love, but with a calm finality that told me our chapter had ended. Sometimes I wonder if I ruined everything for a few fleeting moments of feeling seen. If I had just talked to Daniel, told him how invisible I felt, maybe we could have worked through it. Maybe we would have been stronger. But that's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't just break trust. It rewrites the past, taints the memories, and turns laughter into something hollow. Now every time I look at my kids, I see the unasked questions in their eyes, and I don't have the courage to answer them. Thanks for watching. What would you have done in Daniel's place? Does betrayal always have to mean the end? Or can some wounds heal over time? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.